Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a little bottle of Jeppson's Malört. This is a notorious liqueur out there, and this is from Chicago, 35% ABV, and this is quite important. This is sort of really niche to the Chicago, Illinois area. I actually know for a fact that after the Cicerone's exam, they actually make you take a shot of Jeppson's Malört, and it's quite funky. It's a whole meme about it. You can find out all the sort of fun details about it. And so this is like sort of a liqueur. So we're talking about something like Jaeger, Fernet Branca, bartender's handshake. You know, if you're in the industry, hey, you walk in a bar, hey, here's some Fernet. I guess in Chicago, maybe you get some Jeppson's and Malört. Notorious products. I will say I did try this already once, and I tried chilled. So you can check out my Instagram and see my first initial impression. But generally, this is supposed to be really disgusting. So let's check this guy out. It's quite, I mean, it's booze. It's boozy. It smells a little sweet. There's a little bit of this kind of like plasticky thing going on. I think a lot of people call it like burnt rubber tire, plastic band-aids, but yeah, it's got this like warming kind of, I mean, it's mostly warming and sweet, but not very herbal. I guess some herbs, like sweet herbs. So like, I'm thinking of like a little bit like, what am I thinking of? Lavender and these kind of soft, sweet kind of floral elements. But it's got an edge to it too. I mean, it's boozy, so. I mean, not supposed to, again, it's not a product meant to be like sipped or smelled. It's a shooter. So let's take this little guy and go. So I can see where people dislike it. The first initial attack is that kind of like burnt rubbery taste. I will say I've tasted a couple of people on it and they hated it. They were just like, whoa. For me, it's quite pretty. It's got this really nice kind of like just pure herbal bitterness. It's very herbal. Shooting it, don't get too much of those kind of like funky tones that most people get. I think people hate it. Earwax, another one. I can certainly see that, but for me, it's like, I guess I may be used to it. Used to sort of herbal products. My mother, by the way, is an acupuncturist, so I'm used to see these kind of like bitter, dried herbal products, and like it tastes like a bitter herbal Asian tea. You know, it's got a lot. That's one thing I can't tell you, like, you know, what those bitter herbs are. I'm sure you can look them up, but these are like dry. I mean, I remember going to Chinatown and get just drawers and drawers of just dried things, herbs and veg, or who knows what they're just dried things. It's very dried and herbal. It's quite nice. The one thing I will say is that it doesn't have the sweetness, sort of like Jaeger and Fernet Branca have more of this like a dark sweetness. This has a sweetness to it, but it's obviously a pale product. So it just doesn't have like all those flavor elements of like a darkness that sort of makes sense, that make those bitter and drinkable. This is sweet and bitter, but like it's not as sweet. I think it's the thing. And as I drink it more, I'm getting less of that kind of like earwaxy, plasticky thing. I mean, like, actually, well, sorry. As a second impression, I'm getting a little bit more, but I'm also getting much more of that kind of like herbal sweetness. This really is like pretty tasty. Like, you know, honestly, it just tastes like, if you like bitter herbal teas and like, it has like a nice chrysanthemum tea flavor, which I'm used to, like this sweet, light, floral element. Like for me, this is less like plasticky and earwaxy and just like these weird funky elements. To me, it's more herbal, floral, bitter. It's certainly bitter. It's a liqueur, you know, like if you're not used to bitter, you're not gonna like this, but yeah. Again, as I drink more, it's less, like, you know, the second hit, I got more of the initial attack, which people hate. And I can certainly see where it's earwaxy, but for me, it's mostly this kind of like pretty herbal, call it Asian-ish, but like it's bitter, herbal, and the sweetness is the thing I think it is an attack on it. It's liqueur, 35%, so it is back sweetened probably at some point, but it's definitely not as sweet, I would argue, as like Jaeger. Fernet's quite bitter. Fernet's definitely sweeter. So it's not as, that's the thing. It's a not very sweet liqueur. So you're getting mostly bitterness and the herbs. And again, if you're an IPA drinker, if you're a craft beer drinker, that's cool for you, right? Like, I mean, the bitterness here is just very tame and like cool for me. I mean, I think a lot of people out there who have ever tried the product would be like, this guy is absolutely insane. Like, why would you ever sip this thing? But again, I tasted with people and they thought it was the worst thing they ever tasted in their lives. But I think it's quite tasty. So, yeah, it was quite nice. I think this would be a fun break from, you know, if you're used to just drinking Jaegers or Fernets and just like, you know, that kind of like consistent kind of like dark, sweet kind of liqueur, Amaro kind of like flavor. This is definitely more dry and more bitter. So quite fun. And it's got this really nice kind of just herbal bitterness that's like quite strong. So would I go nuts for it? No. But is it disgusting? Absolutely not. That's my dissenting opinion. You guys post in comments below, but quite tasty. Until next time, guys, cheers later.